The mood around Chicago right now feels heavy, but also strangely charged, like everyone knows this moment is bigger than just one game. The Bears are walking into the playoffs carrying questions, frustration, and a defense that has been under the microscope for weeks. And the first big storyline everyone is watching closely is the status of Kyler Gordon. There is genuine optimism that his practice window could open, and just that possibility already shifts the conversation. When you look at what this defense has lacked, versatility and physical presence jump right to the top, and Gordon represents both. Even after missing a massive chunk of the season, his potential return gives this unit something it has desperately needed, which is flexibility in how it lines up and attacks. The reality, though, is that bringing Kyler Gordon back is not a magic fix. Missing 14 games takes a toll, not just physically but rhythm-wise. You cannot reasonably expect someone to step back onto the field and immediately look like the same player they were before the injuries piled up. Still, this defense is in no position to turn down help. With injuries stacking up across the secondary, every capable body matters. The Bears have been scrambling week after week, asking players to take on roles they were never meant to handle, and it is shown in the way opposing offenses have found space far too easily. That strain becomes even more obvious when you look at the situation surrounding Jaylon Johnson. He has been grinding through a season where his body never quite caught up with the demands placed on him. Playing hurt in a league that punishes hesitation is brutal, especially when you're matched up against top receivers every week. There has been frustration from fans, but context matters here. Jaylon Johnson is still one of the best options this team has in coverage, and even at less than full strength, removing him from the equation only exposes deeper issues behind him. Asking backups to suddenly outperform him is unrealistic, and the tape has made that painfully clear. The depth at cornerback has been tested relentlessly, and that leads to uncomfortable conversations about players who simply have not seized their opportunities. Coverage breakdowns have become a recurring theme, not an occasional mistake. Giving up chunk plays, struggling to stay disciplined, and losing leverage at critical moments have all added up. When a defense cannot trust its corners, it limits everything else. Blitz packages become riskier, safeties are forced to cheat toward coverage help, and suddenly the entire structure feels fragile. That fragility was on full display when Tariq Stevenson did not see the field at all in a crucial game. For a healthy player to log 0 snaps at cornerback, especially with the secondary bleeding yards, sends a loud message. It suggests that trust has eroded, and that is never a good place to be for a young player fighting to secure his future. Stevenson has shown flashes, but flashes are not enough when the stakes rise. Consistency is the currency of playoff football, and inconsistency gets exposed fast. What makes this situation more complex is that the Bears are no longer a rebuilding team, just hoping to be competitive. Expectations have shifted. This roster is built to contend, and that changes how performances are evaluated. Players who might have been given patience in earlier seasons are now being measured against a higher standard. If you cannot hold up your end when everything is on the line, the league moves on quickly. That pressure is real, and it is shaping how this coaching staff approaches every decision. Amid all of this defensive uncertainty, there is a clear tone being set from the top. Ben Johnson has been direct about the need to turn the page, and that message matters. Dwelling on recent failures does nothing in January. What matters is how quickly a team can reset its mindset and execute when a margin for error disappears. The Bears did not coast into the playoffs. They fought through adversity, leaned into late-game resilience, and found ways to win even when things were messy. That experience can be valuable, but it cannot become an excuse to start slow again. Turning the page is easier said than done, especially when the defense has struggled to stop both the run and the pass. Too often this season, opposing quarterbacks have looked comfortable, throwing into soft zones and converting routine plays into momentum builders. Missed tackles, poor angles, and lack of pass rush have compounded the problem. When one layer breaks down, the whole unit feels exposed, and the Bears have lived in that reality for weeks. Cleaning that up in time for a playoff matchup is the challenge staring them in the face. The offense, meanwhile, has carried its share of the load, often rescuing games that felt like they were slipping away. Chemistry between the quarterback and his targets has grown, sometimes unevenly, but growth is undeniable. Different playmakers have stepped up at different times, which speaks to depth and adaptability. Still, relying on second-half surges is a dangerous habit in the postseason. Against disciplined opponents, falling behind early can bury you before adjustments ever matter. This is where identity becomes crucial. The Bears have embraced a reputation for resilience, for refusing to fold when things get uncomfortable. That mentality has served them well, but playoff football demands more than grit. It demands precision, discipline, and complete games. Winning quarters matters. Sustaining drives matters. Getting stops on third down matters. The margin shrinks, and the details decide everything. Defensively, the question is not whether this unit can suddenly become elite, but whether it can be timely. Can it force a turnover when momentum starts swinging? Can it get a stop when the offense needs breathing room? Can it limit damage instead of collapsing? History shows that teams do not need perfection on defense to make noise in January, but they do need belief and cohesion. Right now, belief is being tested, and cohesion has been hard to find with so many moving pieces. The return of a player like Kyler Gordon could help stabilize that chaos, even if only in moments. His ability to move around, to blitz, to cover quick receivers, and to support the run defense gives the coaching staff options they have not had. Options matter in the playoffs. They allow you to adapt, to disguise, and to keep opponents guessing. Whether that is enough remains to be seen, but it is a thread of hope the Bears desperately need as they prepare for what comes next. As the Bears prepare for this next challenge, the spotlight inevitably shifts to accountability on the defensive side of the ball. Dennis Allen did not shy away from that responsibility, and his words carried the weight of someone who understands exactly how far this unit fell short. There is no sugarcoating what the tape shows. Too many yards allowed, too many receivers running free, and far too many moments where the defense looked a step behind rather than dictating terms. When a coordinator openly admits that both coaching and execution were not good enough, it reflects a standard that has not been met but still exists inside the building. The frustration around this defense is not just about one bad performance. It is about a pattern that has emerged at the worst possible time. Giving up massive yardage, allowing quarterbacks to get comfortable, and failing to disrupt timing routes have all become familiar sights. When an offense feels no pressure, everything opens up. Short throws turn into extended drives, missed tackles become first downs, and suddenly the defense is back on the field before it can catch its breath. That cycle has worn this unit down, both physically and mentally. One of the most glaring issues has been the lack of a consistent pass rush. Without pressure up front, even average quarterbacks look confident, scanning the field and waiting for breakdowns. The Bears have struggled to collapse the pocket, and that has placed an enormous burden on a secondary already stretched thin by injuries. Coverage cannot hold forever, and asking defensive backs to stay plaster for extended plays is a losing battle. This is where everything connects. The front seven and the secondary are not separate problems. They feed into each other, and when one fails, the other pays the price. Injuries have undeniably played a role in this unraveling. Key contributors have been in and out of the lineup all season, and continuity has been impossible to establish. Schemes that looked promising on paper never had a chance to fully develop on the field. Rotations changed weekly, responsibilities shifted, and communication suffered. In a system that relies heavily on versatility and timing, that instability can be devastating. The Bears entered the season with a vision for how these pieces would fit together, but they rarely had the full puzzle available. Still, injuries cannot be the only explanation. Playoff teams find ways to adapt. They simplify when necessary, lean into strengths, and mask weaknesses. That adaptability is what separates contenders from pretenders. The Bears now face the uncomfortable truth that adjustments must happen fast, and excuses no longer matter. Every player on that defense understands what is at stake. This is not about next season or long-term development. This is about surviving and advancing right now. The mental side of this moment is just as important as the physical one. Confidence on defense is fragile. Once doubt creeps in, hesitation follows, and hesitation in this league is fatal. Receivers sense it. Quarterbacks exploit it. The Bears must find a way to play free again, even with all the pressure surrounding them. That starts with trust. Trust in assignments. Trust in teammates. Trust that help will be there when it is supposed to be. Without that, no scheme in the world can save you. On the offensive side, the message has been much clearer. This team believes in its ability to respond, to adjust, and to put points on the board when it matters most. The quarterback has shown growth not just in arm talent, but in command of the offense. Chemistry with multiple targets has developed, even if it has not always been perfect. Different games have required different heroes, and the Bears have found them. That flexibility gives this team a fighting chance in any matchup. However, the offense cannot carry the entire burden alone. Playoff football is unforgiving, and asking for constant comebacks is playing with fire. Starting fast matters. Controlling tempo matters. Sustaining drives keeps the defense off the field and limits opportunities for opponents to build rhythm. The Bears know this, and the emphasis on execution from the opening snap has never been louder. This is not the time for slow starts or feeling out the opponent. Every possession must be treated like it could decide the season. The upcoming matchup against Green Bay brings its own weight. Rivalries take on a different meaning in the playoffs, where history and emotion collide with the reality of win or go home. For the Bears, this is more than just another game. It is a chance to define what this season truly represents. Were these wins the product of resilience and growth, or were they masking flaws that could not hold up under postseason pressure? That question will be answered on the field. There is also the reality of outside noise. Critics are waiting. Doubters are ready to pounce at the first sign of collapse. The narrative of a fluke season hangs in the background, whether players admit it or not. The only way to silence that noise is with performance. Nothing else matters. Statements, intentions, and optimism mean nothing once the ball is kicked. The Bears must show, not tell, who they are. This city understands struggle. It understands patience and loyalty. Fans have stood by this team through losing seasons, false starts, and endless rebuilding cycles. That support has not wavered, even when the product on the field did not reward it. Now, with a playoff game at home, the energy shifts. The expectation is not entitlement, but belief. Belief that this team can rise to the moment and deliver something that has been missing for far too long. Whether the defense can meet that moment remains the biggest question. It does not need to dominate. It needs to compete. It needs to tackle with urgency, communicate with clarity, and play with the kind of controlled aggression that playoff football demands. One stop can change everything. One forced mistake can swing momentum. In January, games often turn on moments, not trends, and the Bears are searching for players willing to create those moments when everything is on the line. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors are swirling across the NFL following a fiery reaction from Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love, who reportedly lashed out after a controversial comment from track and field legend Ben Johnson. The remark, which has quickly gone viral among sports circles, allegedly questioned Love's leadership and ability to carry a team under pressure, igniting a storm of speculation about the quarterback's future and mental approach to the game. Sources close to the Packers suggest that Love's response was more than just defensive. Insiders say it revealed a side of him rarely seen in public. While Love has long been regarded as a quiet, disciplined figure behind center, those who witnessed the incident describe his reaction as sharp and unfiltered, hinting at a deeper frustration with external critiques. The football world is now abuzz with speculation. Is this a sign of Love finally embracing the role of outspoken leader, or is it a warning shot indicating tension between him and media narratives that question his readiness? Analysts are already dissecting what this exchange could mean for team dynamics. Some speculate that Love's public response could energize his locker room, positioning him as a quarterback unwilling to tolerate disrespect and poised to fight for his reputation. Others warn that prolonged media scrutiny might distract him, potentially affecting his on-field focus. The involvement of a high-profile figure like Johnson only amplifies the stakes, blending the worlds of football and global sports celebrity in a way rarely seen before. Fans have been quick to weigh in on social media, with many defending Love and framing Johnson's comment as out of touch with the realities of leading an NFL team. Others have speculated about a potential rematch of sorts, imagining future interviews or even indirect jabs on the field as Love seeks to reclaim his narrative. Whatever the outcome, insiders suggest that this confrontation could mark a turning point in how Love handles criticism, and perhaps how the league views him as a rising star willing to confront even the most unexpected challenges. For now, the NFL waits with bated breath as whispers of tension, pride, and competitive fire swirl around one of its most intriguing young quarterbacks. Will Love channel this moment into a breakout season, or is this the start of a storm that could follow him beyond the locker room? Speculators and fans alike are watching closely, ready to see how this drama unfolds. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.